Hey everybody, all 700 of you. That's pretty exciting. I've got 700 subscribers, but I hesitate saying anything because the day that I got 500 subscribers, I made a video and said, wow, thank you for subscribing. This is so great. This is so exciting. 500 subscribers. I don't know. I just see people do that all the time. Like, oh my gosh, I made it to 100,000 or a million. I thought 500. I do think 500 is a big deal. So I made a little video and said, hey, that's so exciting, 500 subscribers. And the next day I had 499. I actually thought that was pretty funny. Good one. That was funny. Whoever you are, I hope you're still with us because that was funny. That was funny. So, hey, all of you, let's chat for a second. I would love to take a nap. But there are so many people outside working on my house right now, and I love taking naps in the middle of the day, but I don't want them to think I'm lazy. I want them to think I'm a hard worker. So I also don't want to come out there like with my hair all messed up, drooling. What if they have questions? There's people working on my house, and the electrician's coming to dig a big trench today. Hallelujah. My 40 day fast. I was just going to show you or talk to you about this on March 20th, but let's talk about it now and maybe I'll just kind of make some updates, and I'll turn this into a whole video and string pictures on this video. And then I don't even have to keep up with so many pictures on my phone. I can delete them. Blah, blah, blah. Those are logistics. Here's the details. I am fasting right now from 16 things, but really 14 covers it. I'm most definitely fasting from hydrogenated fats and monosodium glutamate. Glutamate? I think that's right. That's right, glutamate. Oh boy, those are bad news. Like aspartame. Aspartame is bad news. Now, if you've been following my channel, I hate to say me, let's travel together, but whatever, I'm a leader. I'll lead. I follow people, right? On this little human experience we're having. Ultimately, I follow Christ. Period. So I want to make sure I'm following people that he wants me following. But if you've been with me for a while, you know I aim to not eat sugar or flour, which cuts out tons of hydrogenated, well, that cuts out lots of sugar and flour and processed, lots and lots and lots of processed foods. But I still eat processed foods, and I still eat packaged foods, because think about it. The Madras lentils that I eat, they're processed. Somehow they got into that little package by a process, I'm sure. And packaged foods, I mean, the riced cauliflower, the frozen vegetables, they're in packages. So I'm not like anti-PP. I'm not anti-processed or packaged foods. But for the most part, when we think of processed or packaged foods, we think of dry, dehydrated forms of sugar and flour. To avoid sugar and flour is really to eat. People say, what do you eat? I eat food, period. Food is, you hear me say it a lot, a substance that promotes growth and sustains life. I eat food. That's what I eat. Here's a packaged food. I just ate some rice cakes. They come in a package, but the only ingredient is brown rice. No more chickpea pasta for me. Have you looked at the ingredients? It's chickpea flour. Or it says chickpea starch, which is like squeezing out all the starch from the chickpea and making a noodle with that. And the starch is basically sugar. Anyways, no more of that. But to avoid sugar and flour kind of helps me naturally avoid a lot of hydrogenated fats and monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate is MSG. MSG, like aspartame, like I was saying, aspartame is bad news. Aspartame is a form of fake sugar. Look on the back of different like water mix-ins, like little, I don't want to name some brands here, but like if you see, yes, all those, if it ends with OSC, it's no good. It's fake sugar if you're trying to avoid sugar. Dextrose, sucralose, there's so many oses. But aspartame, I had a friend explain to me once that aspartame can be broken down and finally ends up as formaldehyde, what they put in dead bodies. Blech, okay, it's like not, it's deemed edible. So many things are deemed edible because it's like it's edible if you only have a little. That's like saying gasoline is edible if you only have a teaspoon of it, but I don't want a teaspoon of gasoline. So MSG is the sodium, monosodium, that comes off of, I'm getting this wrong, glucose or something like that. It's the sodium that's, maybe I'm getting that right. The sodium from glucose, the sodium from glutamate. I doubt I'm getting that right. Do I sound like I am? No. But it's the sodium from, I don't know. I did this much research and that's all I want to do. But it's the sodium from something. Okay, now, from something. Comment below. The sodium from what? I don't know. I'll look it up. Hold on. Monosodium glutamate is the sodium from glutamic acid. There, I can move on. So it's actually a seasoning. It's like, I think, let me check. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. OMG. MSG is something you can buy at Walmart. I thought so. I'll show you a picture here. You can actually buy it and sprinkle it on your food. It's so terrible for us. It is addictive. It's what's in, when I think MSG, I think gas station. It's in what's in gas station foods. It's the cheesy stuff. It's the orange stuff. It's in Mary's cheese puffs that I bought for her yesterday. It's in Doritos. Monosodium glutamate. And what's really gross is Franklin was looking last night at his Doritos, and I said, look, see if it's in yours. We were talking, this Myers, we're talking about monosodium glutamate last night. I said, look on your Doritos. See if it's towards the bottom. Doritos have a paragraph this big about ingredients. I said, look towards the bottom. See if it's on there. It wasn't towards the bottom. It was in the upper half. I said, Franklin, oh, think about that. I said, ingredients are listed from most to least. It's not even the least of things that are in Doritos. It's like at the halfway point. So monosodium glutamate is addictive. It makes you want more and more. I am on day 3 of this fast, and yesterday I had an interesting moment where I was literally like, I just want something from a gas station. You think I've had a little MSG in my system? Oh, I was like, I just want something from a gas station. I think I want MSG. Yuck. So, it is, let's see here. My phone's dying. So MSG is, think of like the orange powder. Think of, I was laughing. I've been eating this gas station popcorn. Now I can read on the ingredients and see that some of it doesn't have it, but when it says white cheddar, you think they went and got white cheddar from a deli and grated some white cheddar onto that popcorn? No, it's like powder, and all that powdery stuff it lights our brain up and it makes us want more. And, when you start getting off stuff, you resensitize. And then you're kind of in a pickle because, before you either didn't realize how bad you felt, or you didn't even feel that bad because you were staying high all the time. Because these drugs that you feel bad so you take them to feel better, they make you feel bad so you take more to feel better. That's called dependency. That's being dependent on something. And I get it. I've been very dependent on things over the years. Using it, ingesting it to make me keep going, and then having to ingest more to keep going. Vicious cycle. So to get off of it, beware. You're going to resensitize, and then you'll consume it and noticeably feel bad and swell really bad. I tell people, don't be so worried about being overweight. Part of some of being overweight is just being swollen. It's just water retention. That's why I'm happy to fast and detox for 40 days. So MSG is addictive. It makes you want more MSG. And it causes all sorts of problems. You can look up the side effects of MSG. But one that I did not know about until yesterday is something called a very real thing. Are you ready for this? Something called Chinese restaurant syndrome. I told Greg about that, and he said, what does that mean? You just want to eat at Chinese restaurants a lot? I said, no, Greg, it's a real thing. Chinese restaurant syndrome is like, it has its own list of symptoms. And it's because Chinese restaurants use so much MSG in their food. They use it as a seasoning. So MSG, yikes, hydrogenated fats. Hydrogenated fats are where you take a fat and then you add hydrogen to it. Why? So that it will become, what did I read? Saturated. Why? Why would we want it to be saturated? If saturated fats aren't healthy, all these, I don't know, there's so many different fats. Why make it more saturated? Well, because I'm glad you asked. I researched, I looked it up. Okay, so to make it more spreadable. So when you think hydrogenated fats, it's like margarine or the fats that they use in commercial baked goods, like commercial donuts, any of those donuts sitting on a shelf, those boxes of little cake, little Debbie stuff. That's hydrogenated fat. It's more spreadable. They can't put like healthy olive oil on stuff. It'll just, imagine taking a donut and glazing it with olive oil. Just wouldn't work very well. Hydrogenated fats, not good. Anything that can sit on a shelf for 3 years and still taste good, not good. So, here's what I'm fasting from. And I really was not going to get into this, but I really think this is going to help me out to just kind of share this experience instead of having to keep so many pictures and ideas pictures on my phone and ideas in my head. I thought, you know what, I'd rather just chat my way through these 40 days. So on February 9th, today's February 11th, I'm on day 3 of this 40-day fast and detox. I committed to fasting from, are you ready for this? 14 things, but you know what, I'm going to call it 16. I'm going to call it 16 things because I am fasting from hydrogenated fats and monosodium glutamate also. All right, you ready? I'm going to see if I can get this. I'm fasting from, and I'm detoxing from, and there's a difference. Fasting is where you give it up for a period of time, typically for spiritual reasons, but not always. We fast before surgery. We fast before getting blood work done. A detox is because, I want to detox this body I'm in. Sorry about the lighting. Keeps getting dark. You know, I was doing my photo food diary. I did that for 4 weeks straight. There's a little week there where there's some, I was taking pictures of everything I ate, and then I thought, you know what? I think I'm in the midst of something. I need a little privacy. God had me in about 7 days. I call it get it in my system, get it out of my system. I got it out of my system by getting it in my system. There was a period of 7 days where I think I ate Mexican food 3 times. I ate popcorn, and I don't mean my hot air popcorn. I don't mean the good stuff in my kitchen. I mean movie theater, and the kids convinced me to take them to a movie on Sunday night. Oh, that was Franklin's idea. Before school, on a school night. I was out of energy, but I thought I can sit there and break popcorn with my kids, break bread with my kids. I can sit there and eat popcorn. I can do that. Really using the fact that I'm sharing the popcorn as like a ridiculous attempt to call that a boundary. That's not a boundary when they'll refill it. Am I right? It's like tortilla chips at the Mexican restaurant. Just because I'm sharing it with my family does not mean I'm limiting myself, because would you like more chips? Yes, we would. Thank you. Let's see. Let's do the math. If we get 14 baskets of chips and there's only 3 of us eating them, then I'm probably eating 22 baskets myself. Anyways, in that 1 week period, I ate Mexican food 3 times. I ate popcorn from the movie theater or Walgreens. I got a big bag of it. I didn't even get like a little bag because I thought, no, when I'm at home and I make popcorn, my serving is an enormous bowl. If I took this family-sized bag of popcorn and poured it in an enormous bowl, it'd be about the right amount. Or would it? Is that the right amount? That's debatable. No, it's not debatable. It's not the right amount. So in a 1 week period, and then, I went on my first date a couple weeks ago. My first medjool date. A date as in, I've still got the wrapper. I'll show you. Ew, ew, ew. The things I do for you all. Ew, ew, ew. There it is. Fresh medjool dates. Now, I would imagine some of you all saw this coming a mile away. You saw my little raisin bran that I've been eating. You saw my cinnamon raisin Ezekiel bread, which, by the way, that was a gift from God. I believe it. But, like God often does, He gives me gifts for reasons very different than I very naively think He's giving them to me for. I thought He gave me that raisin. I ordered regular Ezekiel bread from Walmart. When I got it, when I picked it up, it wasn't regular Ezekiel bread. It was cinnamon raisin. I was like, this is a gift from God, which I believe it is. It was. Thinking, I am not following that program exactly like I was following it for years and years. And now I get some raisin bread, almost as if I've earned it. Well, surprise to me, I enjoyed the raisin bread, and then, the raisin bread, and then I enjoyed the cinnamon raisin bread. I enjoyed more of it, and then I enjoyed more of it, and then I enjoyed raisin bran, and then I enjoyed more of that, and then I enjoyed. I went and bought prunes. Oh, I know some of you. It's difficult at times to be objective with our own behavior, am I right? But it's very excellent to live and learn and do the research. So I had some raisin bread, cinnamon raisin bread, some raisin bran, and then I got this big idea to go to Walmart and buy plums and apricots and those dates. And I went on my first date with that date, a medjool, fresh medjool date. And let me tell you, they sell dates down at the Mennonite grocery store that do not compare to those dates. They're like dried up, shriveled up, dehydrated cockroaches compared to those dates. Those medjool dates are like the inside of a jelly bean. Sugar that's gooey and sticky and stretchy and still kind of granular, crunchy. Are you with me? And then the outside of them, yes, I'm going into detail here. It's worth it. Maybe if I could prevent one person from binging on dates, then this whole YouTube channel has been worth it. The outside of those dates is like a donut. It's got a glaze on it. And they just grow right on a tree. So a prune is a dried up plum. A raisin is a dried up grape. But a medjool date is just a date. You pick it right off the tree. I'll show you a picture here. Okay, I couldn't find exactly the picture I was looking for, but you get the point. You pick them right off a palm tree, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they are some fruit that you eat the fruit first, like a plum or a grape. I don't know. I don't know much about them other than I got tangled up with them. I ate about 2 bags of those in 2 days. I ate a bunch in the course of like 48 hours to the point where I was like, oh, so I gathered up all my dried fruit and I returned it to Walmart and I got my money back. And I took that money and bought celery and spinach and lemons and limes and what else? Unsweet coconut milk. So I had my first and my last date. So I showed y'all everything I was eating for 4 weeks in my photo food diary. That was great for me. That was really good. I'm transitioning. We always are. Life is one big transition from one stage to the next stage. And after those 4 weeks of that, I was taking pictures of everything I was eating, but I realized, oh my gosh, all I'm eating is tortilla chips, popcorn, and dates. I think I need to recalibrate. And so I did. I quit making my photo food diary and I just zoomed out a little and realized I have pretty good boundaries in some areas and not such good boundaries in others. And I prayed and prayed. I prayed to God about what to do. It's like when he clips a string and you feel a little untethered. It's I don't know, it sort of reminds me of something with momentum built and there's a lot of energy involved. And then when the string is clipped, this thing might just kind of spin for a while. I felt like I was sort of spinning like, But I like to think we're not spinning out of control. We're spinning into control. And God does that often. He has us break down so he can build us back up. He can break us into pieces and put us back together better. Am I right? So I stopped recording for my photo food diary and could tell that it's time for something to change. There's people in my house. Where was I? I could tell something needed to change. Me. Speaking of dates, Talita, are dates kind of like what you talk about grows on a tree in your backyard? Is it kind of like that? And also, Jill, I thought about you when I was having this week of tortilla chips, popcorn, and dried fruit. I thought about you when you said you went outside and you were so excited to eat something that at Costco, you took it back in and returned it. That's how I was getting. I was getting to where I was like too excited to eat stuff. To the point where I was like, I asked my husband, I said, a serving size is 2 to 3 apricots, dried apricots. But how many servings can I have a day? And Greg said, none if you can't handle it. And I was like, well, a serving, 2 to 3. Is that like you can have a serving every 10 minutes? So Franklin said, Mama, what if you just gave yourself 6 apricots a day and then made them last all day long? And that's really when I realized I'm done. I'm over this. Because can you imagine if these guys working here needed me and they had questions for me? There was so much going on outside my house. And they had questions for me. But I was like, hang on, guys. I can't talk right now. I'm busy rationing my apricots. I don't want dried fruit taking up time or mental capacity or energy. So I'm evicting it. It's gone. I took it back to Walmart. So I was getting ready to go to bed one night after this week of chips, popcorn, and dried fruit. And I just told Greg, I said, I just want you to know I'm struggling. You don't have to fix it. I just want you to know I'm just currently like, struggling. That's okay. Struggling is good. I don't think it's a bad thing when I'm in a season of struggle. I actually want to order myself some new tennis shoes and go to the YMCA and struggle. I want to go work out. It's good. It's healthy. Struggling is good. So I told Greg one night, he was about to fall asleep. I said, this was, I guess, 3 nights ago. And I said, I'm struggling And he said, well, I'm way too tired. He said, I'm about to fall asleep. He said, I probably won't be able to give you any good ideas. I said, you know what? I really don't need any ideas if you'll just pray for me. And he did. He said a prayer that God would give me wisdom and discernment or guidance, or I don't even remember what, but it was an awesome prayer. And when I went to sleep, I dreamt and dreamt about a bunch of funny stuff, actually. But when I woke up, I realized that's it. Today, 40 days. 40 days is a biblical number. It's how long Jesus was in the wilderness being tempted by Satan. Satan was like, you're so special. You're so smart. We'll turn this. You're so hungry. Aren't you hungry? And he said, here, turn this rock into bread. Or he took him to Satan tempted Jesus 3 different ways. With pride, I've heard preachers very succinctly describe this. With possessions, he took him to the edge of the mountain, said, see all that? You can have it, it's yours. He showed him the landscape of the city, which is Satan's to give. John 4:4, 1 John 4:4, he who is in me is greater than he who is in this world. This world is Satan's, and it's ruled by Satan. And I increasingly want to be around people that can teach me about the Bible, not about the ways of this world. Satan will do that himself. I think I know enough about the ways of this world. I want to know more about the ways of the way, Jesus. John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to me but through the Father. This is so awkward. I'm in my bedroom, and I just heard somebody go in my bathroom and lock the door, and I called my husband. I was like, are you here? He said, nope, I'm not there. Somebody was in my bathroom. If they're listening, they're going to learn about dried fruit. So, 40 days. It's a good number. It's a biblical number. It's also, of course, it's the number of days between, for Lent, leading up to the death and resurrection of Christ over Easter. But I also want to give myself a time period. Now, these are things that I'd like to kick out of my life. One of them I'm not so sure if I want to get rid of forever. 2 of them, actually. But for the most part, I don't want any of these ever. But I'm not going to tell myself indefinite. I'm giving myself a time period so that I can stay focused and it can seem as doable as it is, which I am amazed. I'm amazed that it's doable. If I had tried to do this 5 years ago, I'd really be struggling because I wouldn't know how to operate. I wouldn't know what to eat for breakfast, what to eat for lunch. But because I know what I know now and I've experienced what all I've experienced, I'm pretty excited. This is doable and I'm doing it. Here's what I'm fasting off of. Let's see if I can get it. Hydrogenated fats, monosodium glutamate. Okay, here's the other 14. Sugar, flour, caffeine, turning to restaurants to cope, binging, dieting, chips, especially tortilla chips. And you all know that's a big one for me. One time I was laughing with somebody on here because I said, oh my gosh, no, here, I'll send you my book. You don't have to pay me. Just pay me in tortilla chips. That's a big one for me. Okay. Sugar, flour, caffeine, turning to restaurants to cope, binging, dieting, and day ones. No more starting over. Chips, especially tortilla chips, popcorn, juice, dried fruit. I gotta look here. Natural flavors. I'm telling you, once you get off this stuff, you're sensitive. You are resensitizing yourselves. I'll speak for myself. I have resensitized myself to the point where when I get off this stuff and then I try to dip my toe back in, the water does not feel cold. It feels nice and warm. So I dip my toe and then I dip my foot, and before I know it, I'm up to my knees, and then I just dive in and swim around in a bunch of sewage. And then I'm like, I gotta get out of here. So when I have a sparkling water, it's got to be plain. I don't want natural flavors. If I bring Triscuits back into my life, which I might, I don't know, probably not though. I'd rather just stick with my Ezekiel bread, but natural flavors, watch out for natural flavors. And artificial sugars and dairy. I'll talk about that in a minute. And YouTube videos. Again, I watch YouTube Look, I've got a TV right here. We don't even have it hooked up. One day I told my teenage son I'd pay him $20 to hook that thing up. The box, look, there, that's the box right there. If I would just open that box and plug it in, then I could have TV, and I'm paying for it. We have TV in the other room. I have literally never opened that box and plugged in one cord that would allow me to have TV in here. So YouTube is like my TV. It's where I get the news. Well, the nature of news is NEW. It's new information. But you know what? It's all the same thing. This world is messed up. Am I right? That's not new, and that's not going away either. So I can take a 40-day break from the details. Dairy. I'm giving up dairy because I am highly sensitive to stuff, like super sensitive, and I am optimistic that if I can take a break from dairy, that might help with my eczema and my still not so great sense of smell after having coronavirus. Anosmia, ANOSMIA. I've done all the tips and tricks trying to get my sense of smell back, and I recently read an article, I believe God put it across my path, that they are starting to think that a lot of the trouble with sense of smell is inflammation. And so I'm excited to do anything, and I'm interested and I'm motivated to do anything to decrease some inflammation. So there you have it. For 40 days. No sugar, no flour, no caffeine, no turning to restaurants to cope, no binging, no dieting or day ones, no chips, especially tortilla chips, no popcorn, no juice, no dried fruit, no artificial sweeteners, no natural flavors, no dairy, no YouTube videos, and no hydrogenated fats or monosodium glutamate. Ding! That's it. That's what I'm fasting off of. And it amazes me that it's doable at this point. That's something that I would have loved to have done 5 years ago, but not even have known what those 16 things were 5 years ago. This has been quite the education. Here's my poster. I'm saying no to 16 things, but I'm saying yes to 7 things. All right, that'll be my thumbnail. Let me see if I can take a picture while I make a video. Oh gosh, there's my signature. Gulp. I did it. I think I just took a picture. Okay, here's my nose. Sugar, flaffine, sugar, flour, caffeine. And then I'm gonna add, I need to color that in purple. Here's my yeses. This is what I'm saying yes to. Now that I'm taking a break from especially YouTube videos, I want to read more. And I have a bunch of books that I've bought that I haven't read. And I always want to read the Bible. So I'm saying yes to reading and music. So instead of using the YouTube app, I'm using the YouTube Music app and listening to music every once in a while. And I'm going to start taking books with me and sit there at in the car rider line and read. Imagine that. Okay, sleep. Yes to sleep. A gallon of water a day, colorful nutrition, and protein and fat at every meal. Walking. I'm going to buy myself some walking shoes. These are my boundaries. 3 meals, 2 snacks, 1 cup. And I'm going to say yes to de-stressing by decluttering. There's some clutter. These don't fit Mary anymore. I'm going to take them, you know what? I'm going to take them with me today. Oh, and this I think belongs to the contractor. Tiny, but I want it out of my house. Okay, so then down here, I made this little border. February 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and the border goes all the way around. And then I ran out of room, so I had to do 2 layers. I had to layer that one. And then at the end, wow, you go, girl. Matthew 28:18-20. When I say go, and I say it often, I say it on the Woe Is She videos, I'm saying go therefore and make disciples. That's what I mean by go. Matthew 28:18-20, go therefore and make disciples. Jesus saying, all authority has been given unto me. Go therefore and make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. There's my poster. Commanding them to do everything, or teaching them to do everything I have commanded you. I don't know. It's a lot. And lo, basically, have no fear. Jesus says, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Jesus gives the Great Commission. Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Amen. Good to remember. When he tells us to go, he says, go, and I'll be with you. Just go. And I promise you won't be alone. So here's my poster. Here's my bathroom that I'm locked out of. I hope nobody's in there. Maybe I should check that first. I don't know what I'm about to show you all. You want to see somebody sitting on a toilet? Okay. I'm with you always, he says, to the very end of the age. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to string some pictures together, then I can get them off my phone, and all the little things that I've been wanting to tell you all about this journey and how it's going so far. I'll just kind of do little updates, but please pray for me, because I made a video earlier and I talked about being God conscious instead of self-conscious. When I'm not feeling so great and I'm just like, I don't know, all wrapped up in my own, you know what, my own stuff, which tells me I need to get with God and ask for wisdom, discernment, guidance, and direction, and so that he'll tell me which path to follow. I'm so grateful for this one. I feel so excited, and it feels so good to have a focus. When we have a focus and we know which direction to head in with regards to our eating or our spending or whatever, then we can get rolling, right? And then when we're rolling, then God can use us in ways that he cannot when we are just so tangled up in our own issues. Let's ask God to help us get untangled and help us move forward towards him. I'd like to report I'm on day 3. Here's my little update, okay? Day 1, I felt, after doing this for one day, I felt instantly social again. And when I say that, I mean, when I am not feeling good about my eating or how I'm operating, then I don't want to go to basketball games. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to be out in public. I don't want people talking to me, because they do. People talk to me, I talk to them, right? It's like the nice social thing to do. And if I don't feel good about what I'm doing or how I'm operating, I don't want to answer questions about, oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight, or blah, blah, blah. Or if they're not saying that, wondering, can they tell I've gained weight? See how it's like self-conscious, not God-conscious? There are people around us hurting. Just, if I can just get out of my own issues and be present, I can remember that just because people look good and they're sitting there and they've got their hair done and they got their makeup done, they might be in pain that we cannot even fathom. And I want to be aware. I don't want to be sitting there just kind of self-centered and concerned about myself. And I just want to be available and aware to meet needs. That's what ministry is, to meet needs. And sometimes what people need is a genuine smile. And they might need a little attention. And I cannot give people attention if I am self-absorbed. I can't give what I don't have. And I want to have available resources. I want to have the desire to help others, and I want to have the ability, and I want to have the capacity to give to those around me and not render myself needy. So that's why that God conscious versus self-conscious. Do we want to obsess over our bodies and over our food? No, of course not. But if we don't allow the Holy Spirit to lead us and guide us and direct us into health and order, then ironically, these things that we don't even want to spend our lives consumed with will consume our lives. Because like a growing cancer, they will take over. I want to manage. I want to function. And I want to be a function of love. When we're in the Word is in us. Jesus is the Word. God is Jesus. Jesus is God. And God is love. So when we're in the Word can flow from us. I was just telling Katie Brown this underneath my last Woe Is She video. Katie left a neat comment, and then I responded to her and said, let's continue. Let's keep moving forward. God is with us. He's among us. This is fellowship. And I love you, and I'm with you. And we are truly traveling together. So over the next 40 days, I feel like I just skipped ahead. Katie left a comment, and that's what I responded to her, that when we're in the Word and the Word is in us, and we realize that Jesus is the Word, that's John chapter 1, verse 1. And then we realize that Jesus is God. And then we realize that God is love. When we consume the Word can flow from us. When it flows in, it can flow out. And if the Word is flowing in and the Word is flowing out, then love is flowing in and love is flowing out. Because the Word is Jesus, Jesus is God, and God is love. Ding! Okay, Jill, ding! Jill and I always laugh. There's like dings all over my videos. Like I'll be talking and then all of a sudden an alarm will go off or the microwave will beep or ding. Okay, that's it. God is with us. Emmanuel. Thank God for that. I love you dearly. I'm going to show you some pictures now and I'll keep you updated. Please pray for me. I love you. We'll talk again soon. I got my earbuds in. I'm editing this video and I just realized I did not finish what I was saying. After day 1, I did a 180. I was social again. I could go back out in public, feeling good, like I had my own personal stuff in order. And I could look people in the eye and talk with them and share with them and connect with them and not be so self-absorbed. That was after 1 day of this. That was amazing. Just instantaneously, instantly. No matter what my weight is, no matter how tight I don't really care about all that. In fact, I don't really care what people think about what size jeans I'm in. When I have things in order. When I don't, and I'm feeling like, okay, Lord, which way do you want me going? And I'm sliding off and getting kind of a little lost. Then I do start to care. It becomes neurotic. Thinking about what other people are thinking about. That's no fun. So after just 1 day of this, I was like, let's go out. Let's join this group or join that crowd, and I could be social again, which means I can minister again and be ministered to. It's not just me blessing people. People, obviously, God uses to bless me. So after just one day, I was willing to go back out in public. After 2 days, I noticed that I woke up easy. This morning, I just felt good. I'm processing some stuff out of my system. Yesterday when I was like, I just want something from a gas station, I thought, oh good, I'm in a tiny bit of withdrawal. That's good. That's very good. In fact, that kind of gave me a mental boost. Physically, I still felt kind of bad for a couple hours, but I came home, and you'll see here in a minute, I started bathing people and making salads, and just felt so good about having felt bad. Meaning I felt really, really good when I realized, and I could zoom out enough to have some objectivity with my own behaviors and hear myself kind of pining for something from a gas station. That is an MSG craving, and I don't want to crave MSG. So like I say in that video, if we crave what we eat, then we should eat what we want to crave. So it felt so good and so right to take the time to make a delicious salad last night. So that's it. I'm on day 3. I'll keep you posted. I love you dearly. We'll talk again soon. Bye. And in case you're wondering, this is not the type of day 1 that I'm talking about when I say I'm addicted to day 1s. Those day 1s are the kind of day 1s where you say, or where I used to say, next Monday is going to be my day 1, or February 1st, or March 1st, or January 1st is going to be my day 1. And that's the day I'm going to get it right, and I'm going to white knuckle, and I'm going to do it right, and I'm not going to mess up. I'm not going to make mistakes. I'm really going to do it. And between now and then, I can lose my mind. I can just binge on everything. I can get it all in my system. I can get it all. I can sow my wild oats and eat flour. Wild and crazy. That's not what this was. This did not have any time period between it where I said I'm going to start in a few days. I laid my head on that pink pillow, feeling bad, and woke up and got rolling. So this was not a day 1 that I used as an excuse to binge my way to a false sense of perfection. All right, bye. Okay, so I'm still editing this video and listening to myself. When I hear myself talk about raisins, I just want to put it out there. I just want to share. I just want to put this out there. Raisins actually have more sugar than jelly beans. Look, I'm not telling you not to eat dried fruit. I'm telling me not to eat it, because I do believe my brain is addicted to sugar, especially. No, not especially. I was asking my husband the other day, I said, do you really think I'm addicted to sugar? He said, yes, I do. He always says, yes. And I ask him that every once in a while. Because I've questioned, maybe I just binge on it because I tell myself I can't have it. No, I was binging on it first. The chicken or the egg, the cause or the effect, A or B. I was binging on sugar, which is what made me think, maybe I'm addicted to sugar. This was like 5 years ago. So getting off sugar did not cause me to overdo it on sugar. Overdoing it on sugar caused me to get off sugar. So just want to put that out there. Dried fruit is obviously, you dried out all the water. Raisins have more sugar than jelly beans. Just wanted to share. Also, I'm listening to myself talk about MSG, and I was reminded that years ago when I was trying to figure out my beef allergy, I got bit by that tick and developed alpha-gal, where you're allergic to beef, some people seafood and pork. In the process of trying to figure all that out, my doctor told me, I was 29, I'm 41, so 12 years ago, my doctor told me to, as we're trying to figure it out, to not consume any MSG for 2 weeks. And I left there feeling so overwhelmed. Like, what is MSG and how am I going to possibly avoid it? This is hilarious. Now I'm being reminded that night or the next night, I went to a fall festival with my mom, and we did a cake walk, and I won a big, huge container of chips that were, I don't remember what brand they were, but they don't have any something in them. It says it on the package that they're like healthier than normal chips, and I was so excited to read that they didn't have MSG. So I just ate these chips for like 2 weeks. I was so uninformed, ignorant, clueless, and now I'm so grateful to have a much better understanding, a much clearer understanding, and knowledge that I'm glad to have been given to me, have available to me to seek out. And then it's really an honor to have this opportunity to share it with you. So it's just really funny to hear me talk about MSG and how all I need to do is avoid basically Doritos and Chinese food and gas stations, and MSG is monosodium glutamate and blah, 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 blah. And then to remember 12 years ago when he said no MSG for 2 weeks, I thought, what am I going to eat? I didn't even know what it was. And I had little kids to feed. Is MSG in apples? No. I had a pretty good idea it was not in apples. Also, one more thing. When I hear myself talk about those medjool dates in detail, I am reminded of Proverbs 25:16. If you find honey, eat just a little. For if you eat too much, you will vomit. I did not vomit, but I definitely found honey. Okay, I'm going to finish editing this video and go pick up some kids. Happy Friday, if it's Friday for you. Happy Saturday, if it's Saturday for you. Happy any other day of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on when you hear this. I love you dearly. I'll be in touch. Bye.